All right. Welcome back to the Corazon. Now, check it out. Last time we got together, I was throwing shout-outs to people all over the United States, mention different states and whatnot. But we have familia that are in other countries as well. My nephew David, he's serving in the U.S. Army. He's stationed over in Korea. My homeboy, he and I were best buddies in the Army, still are to this day. John and his lovely wife Heather and their 2 daughters, they're over in England. So big ups to all you out there, okay? Hey, check it out. It's mid-December, Western Washington up here in the Pacific Northwest, and we have sunshine. It does not happen that often. But there's no clouds out there. It's not raining ni nada. So, you know what that means? It's time to grill. That's right. All right, so check it out. I'm going to record a couple different things today, okay? I'm going to set this up in 2 installments. First off, we're going to start off with the side dish, okay? We're going to make some guacamole. Grilling, guacamole, it'll make sense. If you remember back to the salsa recipe that we did, we're going to use some similar techniques. We're going to take some onion here, and we're going to go ahead and pierce this to make some lollipops, okay? I'm going to go and run that through there right there. Be careful with this. You don't want to poke yourself. There we go. 1 lollipop, okay? We're going to do that with a couple of those. We're going to take some tomatillos as well, okay? I'm going to use about 3 for this guacamole here. And then we're also going to make a little envelope here. I'm going to take some garlic. I'm going to throw a couple cloves in there. We fold it up. Como así, just like this. Looks like I lost one, so I'll throw another one in there. That'll work out. Check it out. Okay, so we create a little envelope. Now, we're going to head outside, and we're going to go ahead and throw all this on the grill, okay? You're thinking, guacamole, grilled. Don't worry, we're not putting the avocado in there, okay? Alright, so let's get outside to the grill. Let's check this out.
Alright, check it out. So we've got our little lollipops here that have our cebolla, our onion on there, What I did is I soaked these bamboo skewers, for about half an hour just so they don't get burned as easily. I also have some wood smoke going there. What that is, that's some mesquite. Thought I'd lay down a little bit of smoke flavor up in here on this. And then as you can also hear my neighbor dogs. It's a lot of fun to be in my backyard when my neighbor dogs are out there too. Alright, so let's let this smoke a little bit, let it cook up a little, get nice and soft. And check those out right there. Check it out. I'm going to go and flip this one right here. Ooh, falling apart on me a little bit. No problem. We'll get it taken care of there. Okay, look at that. Things are cooking up nice. Okay, gonna move it around there we go. Alright, that stuff's looking almost done. So here in a couple of minutes we're gonna go ahead and pull everything off and we're gonna let it cool off.
Now it's time to mix everything up. Check it out. So we have our avocados here. Let's go ahead and cut those in half here. Alright. Whoop. Get rid of the seed there. Maybe try to grow that later, huh? Remember that science experiment? We put the toothpicks in it. And yeah, put it in the water and all that. Remember that? God, I can't remember what grade we did that in. Anyway, a little bit of the stem. Put that out of there. Let's go and just use a spoon. We're going to scoop these, the meat from the avocados out. Now really, this isn't a whole lot different than any other guacamole recipe that you try out there. The difference is that I put into this or just the fact that we grilled the onion and the garlic, and the reason we do that is it makes it softer and it's not so strong. Because I love garlic and onion, but it's always a drag when you bite into something and that's all you taste. Is maybe a big solid piece of onion, and that's where a lot of people that tell you that they don't like onion, well, they probably don't like it because they've had it like that, where it's just raw. So here we go. Here's that tomatillo that we grilled up. Okay, so a little bit of what I did is I took the skin off there and took the stem out as well. Okay, there's our garlic. It's about 2 cloves of garlic in there. There's our cebolla, our onion, and of course some cilantro. What I did is I chopped up that cilantro so it's in smaller pieces as well. You don't want a big old piece of cilantro there. It's kind of ugh. Okay, what we have here. A little bit of salt. You're going to salt to taste. Now, I tend to use a lot of coarse salts, kosher salt. This, just some fresh ground pepper. I just ground up a bunch of pepper before we started. Put a little bit of that in there. And, well, let's just mix this up first, okay? So I got my good old-fashioned bean smasher here. Make that, for the frijoles and everything. I'm going to go ahead and start squishing everything down. Get everything squished. That's a technical term, you know, squishing. So just so you know. Alright. Going to continue doing that. We're going to mash this up. Now, I think it's looking pretty good, pretty decent. We'll have to mix it up a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and add in some lime. Now, lime is another thing, like with salt, pepper, cilantro, to taste, you know. How do you like it? Always add a little lime, though. Because, you know, as I'm sure you've heard, what that'll do is that'll keep the avocado, the aguacate, from turning brown. See? Here I'm just chopping up a little bit of my, the pieces of my tomatillo in there. I think I need to add a little bit more lime in there. There we go. So, squish it all down. Looking pretty good. Everything's getting nice and mixed up there. Alright, it's looking pretty decent there. So, we'll go ahead and finish this up. We'll give it a taste, and then we'll put it in the refrigerator, okay? Let those flavors get together and meld in there. Let them start all working together, making just a beautiful taste. Okay. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good. And we'll have to give this a taste, see how we did. Alright, well, there's a quick and easy guacamole recipe for you. Now remember, change it up. You know, if you don't like cilantro as much, take a little bit out. You like some more, throw some more in there, you know. Personally, I like it a lot. I think it adds a nice little fresh flavor to things. So, about the only thing I really changed compared to most guacamole recipes is I was grilling the onion, the garlic, and the tomatillos. That's just to take some of those flavors down so they're not so pronounced. Alright, I mentioned that we're going to be doing something else. Alright, get ready. Coming up for our next episode, we're going to be getting down with some carne asada. You ready? Alright, let's do this.